In the last video, we configured our application, and in this video, we will be customizing the user module, and we want to add a name to our users because Spring Lemon by default comes with email ID and password, but it has no name, and so we are going to give a name to our users. But before we do that, we missed one thing in the last video, and let's do that here. That is, we are planning to have the web client which will be used to test our application running at port 9000, and so that client will be making cross origin requests to our server because our server will be running in port 8080. That is automatically handled by Spring Lemon using CORS or CORS, but for that you have to provide a line like this in application.properties. So let's do that. If you have more than one websites, you can have a list of URLs here, but for now let's stick to just localhost colon 9000. And now let's go ahead and start customizing our user module. Okay, the first thing will be to add a name to the user entity, and for that you already know that we have a user entity like this which extends from abstract user of Spring Lemon, and we are going to add a name field to it. Let's have a look at the validation constraints that we have applied here, that is not blank and size. And thing to notice is that we are providing groups in these, and the groups are having sign up validation.class and update validation.class. This tells Spring Lemon to apply these constraints only while signing up or updating. And for more details, you can refer to this resource. So now I'm going to copy from here and paste it in our user entity. And let's now go ahead and look what we need to do next. The next thing would be to override some of the functionality of Spring Lemon. That means some of the methods of the Lemon service. If you remember, we have created a MyService class which extends from the Lemon service class, and in that class we need to override some of the Lemon service methods. For signing up, we don't need to do anything. The groups that we have provided, the sign up validation group that we have provided was sufficient, but for update we need to override the update user fields method, and this method takes three parameters. The first one is the original user fetched from the database. The second one is the data transfer object which contains the updated data which comes from the client, and the third one is the currently logged in user, that is the Spring Security principal object. So we need to override this method, and we need to first call the super method in that, and after that we need to update the original user with the updated data, that is the new name. And after the commit becomes successful, we need to update the principal object. If the currently logged in user is the one who is updating his own name, we need to set its name to the new name. So this is all we need to do to override this method. And if you want to know more details about the methods in the Lemon service and how to override that, what to override and when to override what, you can refer to this Spring Framework REST API development, a complete blueprint. And you can also refer to the source code of Spring Lemon. You have already have that in your workspace, right? So let's copy it first and paste it in our MyService class. This is the MyService class. Yeah. For example, if you want to look at what the update user fields of the super method, that is the lemon service method does, just press F3 here and you are at the source code of Spring Lemon. Okay, so let me save it and let's go to our guide, getting started guide, and see what we do next. Creating an admin user. If you remember, in our application properties we gave an admin username and an admin password, and this is a user that is going to be created when the application runs for the first time. But now we need to override the method which creates that user, and we need to provide a name to the first administrator. So for doing that, we need to override this create admin user of Lemon Service class, and let's do that. Copy this and paste it in our Lemon Service class, not Lemon Service, My Service class. The first line calls the create admin user of the super method, and then it sets a name. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to see, and the client at multiple times requests the server for the data about the currently logged in user, and that data now we need to include the name of the currently logged in user in that data before supplying that to the client. And for that we need to override the user for client method of the Lemon service, and that takes a parameter as the current user and returns the data for the client in a new user object. So we call that first and get the data to be returned, and then if that data is not null, that means if somebody has actually logged in, we set the name of that DTO that is going to be transferred to the client, and then we return that DTO. So let me copy this and paste it here, and this completes the application with a great user module. Before you proceed to test it out, let me tell you that this create admin user, in which we are overriding and setting the name of the first admin user, will not work if the database is not blank, if already the admin user is created. And if you remember, we ran our application in the last video, and that would already have created a admin user in the database. And so before you run the application again, you should delete that record from the database. I'm going to do that once I finish this video, and then in the next video we are going to download the AngularJS client from GitHub, and we are going to see our application running.